All right. I'm also going to try something new. I just spammed like 3 uploads in 2 days because I'm not in school anymore. So I have time. I'm going to attempt the Booktube Newbie Tag, which is new. I think a lot of them out there are kind of dumb. But I'm doing a little experiment here. So I'm going to do this Booktube Newbie Tag. I have the prompts on my other monitor. So let's just get back into it. I have kind of a weird relationship with tags, but I said, screw it. I'm going to do this one and see what happens. So number 1, why did you start this channel? I don't really know. I'm just kidding. I've been kind of a lurker of Booktube for a long time. Not super long, but maybe since 2021. So there's a lot of booktubers that have came and went for me. A lot of booktubers that I like, enjoy. I actually have kind of dwindled down. So I was subscribed to something crazy like 30, 40, 50 booktubers. And I didn't really just take their reviews as law, but I kind of used it as a constant recommendation machine, which I actually think is the healthiest way to go use BookTube. Is don't get caught up in politics, don't get caught up in hot takes or consumerism. Wink, wink. Just use the booktubers. Like, watch what you enjoy. I'm not saying just, like, mindlessly watch, but use BookTube as, like, a constant recommendation machine. It goes a long way. I'm getting a little bit away from the prompt. Why did I start this channel? So, it was definitely an act of inspiration. I don't remember who or where or, like, what channel or what video. But I was like, reading is something I'm going to school for. It's something I've done my whole life, and I feel like it would be fun, even if my channel ends up just being kind of like a what's it called? What's the term? Like an online journal, or if it's just me watching the videos, looking back on the videos, seeing what I thought about a book or what I bought, what I thought about these books. I just thought it would be really cool to, I guess, get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I'm pretty private in terms of, like, I'm pretty private on the internet. I have social medias, but I don't post a whole lot or say a whole lot. I just kind of lurk. And I just decided, like, I like talking about these books, so I'm going to kind of, add my opinion to the pile because everybody asked. And see where it goes. I don't want to be famous. I don't really want just like millions or hundreds of thousands of people watching my videos. I feel like it's better to have quality over quantity. And that's a whole other rabbit hole. Excuse me. But yeah, that's about what I remember starting this channel. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I don't know. I think I don't know if I'm allowed to stroke my own ego, kind of. A lot of people say I'm really laid back and that sometimes they just like to hear me talk. So yeah, I think I'm not even sitting here worried about being extra unique or super special or even being fun. I just kind of want to get on here and talk about things, and if I'm the only one that watches it, that's cool. At least I did it. If it becomes a problem, I'll just delete my channel. I don't care that much. But yeah, I actually told one of my friends the other day that I had this channel, and I said I kind of treat it like a NeoCities blog, where there is kind of a theme, but there's also not. Like, I could get on here and just talk about video games like I've considered before, and just having like the ultimate mishmash of like content on a channel ever. I feel like that'd be cool. Becoming famous for not having a single thread to follow. I think I have undiagnosed ADHD. I don't know if that's fun or unique, but I don't know. Allegedly, sometimes I don't think I do. But number 3, what are you most excited about for this new channel? I mean, it's kind of fun to get on here and just rant, and just get it out. I believe in talk therapy, and so that's definitely fun to just like come on here. And I've done like a book review before, and I think I was the only one that watched that review for months. And it's not a good review. It's still on there. It's the Miss Lonely Hearts review. It's a good book, but I got on here. Excuse me. Wow. I got on here, and I just kind of like no structure, no bullet point list, just started talking. I probably would benefit from some like outline of thought. But I don't know. I think there's something to be said about just kind of airing it out until maybe you find a niche, and then you're kind of like, all right, I got to structure this a little bit. But yeah, number 3, I don't want to sound negative, but I guess there's not like one thing I'd point at that excites me. I just think it's kind of just talking about things I like, talk therapy. So let's move on. Number 4, why do you love reading? I think it's for some context, I read as a kid, like since preschool, kindergarten. So reading has always been there. I actually stopped reading for a while. I would say from junior high, which is like 8th or 9th grade, to about my senior year of high school. I might have read like 1-2 books a year. So, and then I picked it back up in 2021. But I've always liked reading because I think it helps. Reading is something that, and there's some cliches out there that are true, of course. Like, it helps you build empathy. It helps you escape. There's times where it's nice to just sit down and be forced to do something that requires like relative silence, especially in a society like today where we rely so heavily on phones and screens. And I mean, I have 2 monitors in front of me and a phone beside me and a camera recording me. So there's technology everywhere. And I think sometimes reading, I love it because it helps me slow down. It helps me, I'll find stories that I can really relate to, find stories that can teach you things. One of my favorite things to do is read a book, do like 1 or 2 passes of a book, and then sometimes I go on JSTOR. I forget what that stands for, but it's JSTOR. It's like an academic research tool to research like articles and journals, and you can read someone dissecting plots and themes and about a certain book, and I love doing that. Uncovering the layers, kind of like an onion on a book. It helps kind of broaden your horizon. And there's a lot of reasons why I love reading. That's one of them. The second, I just think it makes you smarter over time. Like, the more you read and the more you get out of your comfort zone inside reading, I think really helps. Sorry. I guess I'm retired. I guess I'm tired now. What book or series got you into reading? Probably Magic Treehouse. I forgot the author's name. But I remember the first memory I have with reading is I remember in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher read us I don't remember the first book, like Dinosaurs at Daylight, whatever it's called. She read us one of those Magic Treehouse books, and I loved it so much that I remember after one class, I think it was as the day was ending, as my mom was going to pick me up, I asked her if I could just borrow her books like the Magic Treehouse books, and they were her personal books, I believe, because she actually just gave me a stack of Magical Treehouse books and was like, and I don't remember the words verbatim because it was kindergarten, but something along the lines of, she said something along the lines of, just take these home, read them, and bring them back. And ever since then, I've pretty much been a fairly regular reader, other than like a weird 4 or 5 year gap, if not longer, where I kind of got away from it. I think I read Magic Treehouse. I remember reading Artemis Fowl. I think I read Jules Verne one time, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And then I read a little bit of Aragon, but I actually never finished Aragon. I checked it out from the library, but it was during a busy time in my semester, so I got like 60 pages in and dropped it. And that's not because of the quality. I just didn't have time. I still read whenever I kind of was, during that hiatus of reading, I still read fairly regularly. Well, not really. I think I said I read like 1 or 2 books a year. But I remember, I think in 6th grade, I read this book called Schooled by Gordon Corman. I don't remember what this is about. It's like I don't want to say coming of age, but it's like a book about middle schoolers, high schoolers. That might have been it. That might be like the only book I read for a while. I also read The Basketball Diaries by Jim Carroll when I was in like 8th or 9th grade. Don't remember anything about it. It's at my library. I need to go check it out and just read it again. I read The Catcher in the Rye, I think in 11th grade. I read Lord of the Flies. I read Macbeth. This is all like required reading, basically. So I count it, but I was reading it because I had to. But you got Macbeth, Lord of the Flies, Scarlet Letter. I'm trying to think. I feel there's probably a lot more. Maybe Young Goodman Brown. I don't know. Flowers for Algernon. I read that. Anthem by Ayn Rand. I read that. I need to go back to that because Ayn Rand is such a polarizing author. Like, I don't agree with a lot of shit she says, but like sometimes I want to read the people that I don't like the most. You know what I'm talking about? It's like there's something, I don't know, maybe I'm like spiteful or whatever you call it, but I found that in my life there's a lot of the authors that get hate or are objectively terrible people. I want to read their books to be like, oh, how terrible are these people? Like, I heard all that crap about J.K. Rowling and all the dumb shit she says, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy Harry Potter used. That way she don't get the money, if that's how that works. Or you'll hear about how bad, like, Court of Thorns and Roses is, and I'm like, I kind of want to go read it now. It's like a train wreck, you know? And, like, what's hilarious is I sometimes will watch videos about, like, oh, the top 10 worst books I've read this year. And I'm like, I kind of want to go, like, pick 1 or 2 of those and read them just to see, like, how bad they actually get. Yeah, that's a really crazy tangent. But the book series that got me into reading was probably Magic Treehouse. Maybe Series of Unfortunate Events, too. I feel like that doesn't get talked about a lot, at least in the circles I'm around. There's like I think there's 13 books in that series. Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite YouTubers? I am one of those people where if you ask me my favorite anything, I can't tell you. It's weird. So I don't really have like favorite booktubers, but there's some good there. Let me look at my subscriptions on my phone real quick. I have some I like. And then I'll think of a question in the process. So let me see. There's going to be a lot. So you got Audrey Approved, Bryn Booth Jones, Brian Lee Durfee, Colossum Books. I think that's Matt. Gronsky Books. That's an underrated channel, by the way. He has like Gronsky Books. he has like 863 subscribers. He doesn't put out a lot of he doesn't really put out videos regularly. At one point, I think he was only putting like one video a month out, but they would be anywhere from 30 minutes to like an hour and a half. There's Joshua Crebo. Casey is reading. Matt Ingwalson, Pato. Paul Majors. It's Magrs. Please read your book. Really Random Reads. Steve Donahue. I think everybody knows who that is. That Reading Guy. That it's like a younger guy, not young, but his name is Isaiah. He's really cool. The Active Mind and Tokyo Chemist. Tokyo Chemist is a really cool channel to follow if you like manga and Japanese literature. Those are like my favorite YouTubers, and I can't pick one out of them. It's really difficult. If you ask me my favorite anything, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Questions though, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'd have a question. Sometimes I wonder if it's better to be a small channel versus a big, I guess, because there's a lot of big channels I ran into where if you go back and kind of like see their come up, you feel like they're definitely affected by the dollars, if you know what I mean. And that, I guess, in a business sense, you don't blame them, but you're also like, damn, like your videos are so formulaic now when they used to be really ranty. Not ranty, that has a bad connotation, but just like off the dome, stream of consciousness. Number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Probably getting people to watch. The YouTube algorithm is something that you can act like you know how to work it, but nobody does. And like I've already mentioned, I already mentioned, I don't care to be famous. I don't really want to be famous. But I think it is cool to maybe get like a small like I call it get a small cult following where you get like the same couple people that just watch your videos. I think that's probably all I'd be happy with. Like just give me like, I don't know, give me like 500 subscribers and like 10 to 15 comments a video with good discussion. I feel like that'd be cool. When did you start reading? Probably, I mean, if you're counting like reading where it's not like children's toddler books, probably kindergarten. I don't know. Where do you read? I mean, I read multiple places. That's number 9. Where do you read? That's, like I said, I read a little bit everywhere. I try to read either in the space I'm in now, which is kind of like where I live. This is kind of like my office. I don't like calling it office though. I don't do office stuff in here. This is just like my computer. I read here, or I usually try to read downstairs on my couch. Sometimes I read in bed, but I'm one of those like feng shui type dudes. Not really, but I'm one of those people where I don't really like to just be in bed if I'm not going to sleep. I mean, I read in bed this morning. I've been reading the Iliad, and I read a little bit of that in bed this morning. So yeah, and sometimes I'll go to coffee shops and read, like a lot of us do. I've gone to the library with my own books and read, and like tinkered around on my computer, on my laptop. But yeah, I just, it's the same kind of handful of places. Number 10, what kind of books do you like to read? I try to read like a little bit of everything. I probably lean towards fiction. Like if we're looking at a pie chart, the biggest slice is probably fiction. But I also try to read a lot of poetry because for school I have to write a lot, and poetry kind of helps you learn what sounds good and what words to use in certain contexts. Like that's kind of the art of poetry, but that actually helps you with longer form writing as well. Lately I've been picking up more nonfiction. I mean, like I bought a book recently about race and parody. I bought collections of works from like certain areas in the world. I've actually checked out a Japanese dictionary, like a Japanese to English dictionary, so I could up my vocabulary game. I've read books about geology. I've read books about I've read books about books. Trying to think of anything else. I read a book about skateboarding. I'm down to read whatever. The only thing I would say, things that I want to get to a little bit more are history books / biographies. I've kind of let that side of things. I haven't really touched a lot of biographies, which is a shame because I feel like I find myself, if I really enjoy something, I mean, one of the first things I do is look up like, how did this person live? What did they do when they were younger? How'd they grow up? And, like seeking for ideas in life or what I want to do, with my life. So I actually went to the library today and I checked out Glory Road by Don Haskins, which if you've seen that movie, it's a movie about a 1966, I believe, basketball team out of Texas Western, also known as UTEP. And back in 66, this team was the first team to field an all-black starting five. I checked out his biography, or it's not even really, it's a biography, but it's like his telling of the story of the team. So it's not really like him, or at least it didn't seem like it. It seems like it's more about the team than about him, than a biography of Don Haskins. And I want to try to pick up more biographies and more historical works. Like I want to read Plutarch. I want to read Plutarch soon. He did a lot of, I think, the fall of the Greek Empire, fall of Roman Empire. One of those words he did the fall of something. Sorry, my cat is up on the thing now. There's apparently an 11th question that just says, what does your book collection look like? Hold on. I'm going to try to see if I can, there, sorry, that was really jumbled. You got a little bit of everything. I did buy Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand a couple years ago, and I'm kind of regretting it because every time I, show this off, it makes me look like an absolute filthy right-leaning person. You got Warlock, you got Old Jules, you got contemporary Japanese literature. You got this stack of books. It's probably not going to focus. We got Lord of the Rings. Hold on. Yeah. I only own one bookshelf, and it's just like a small bookshelf. I need to get more. I used to sell a lot of books too, but I've kind of started to think about the future, which is scary. But I was like, maybe I need to keep some more books to pass on, because I'm 27 and eventually I do want to have kids, so I was like, I need to up the inventory eventually, so whenever I die, my kids are like, hey, what books did you read? Why am I not finding my mouse? Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. Well, that's the prompt. I don't see any other questions, so yeah, have a good day.